we've got a hot one tonight. Tyrone Bowman live, unfiltered, unapologetic, uncompromising. So you might as well gather on in here and let's talk about the headline in USA. Actually, it's USA Today. For 4 long years, the nation and the world has listened to Donald Trump, former President of the United States of America, consistently lie, deny, and fabricate that he won the 2020 election. The inciting of the insurrection that took place on January 6th, that culminated in people dying, property destroyed, people's lives destroyed, election deniers rose up around the nation demanding, some even said, we demand that he be reinstated back in office. Foolish evangelicals supported his theory of denial. Well, according to USA Today, the headline reads, Trump admits he lost in 2020, leading white nationalist Nick Fuentes to disavow him. Let's get down to the essence of this story on tonight. And by the way, before I start my commentary and analysis of this article, thank you to those of you who helped us to reach 796 subscribers. Hopefully, before the end of the month, maybe we'll be at 1,000. I don't know, but we're well on our way. According to USA Today, former President Donald Trump's recent acknowledgement that he lost the 2020 election has rattled prominent far-right figures, with some saying they will lead a campaign to keep him from being elected in 2024. Hi, back to you, Akeem. What's happening? At least 3 times in recent weeks, Trump, the 2024 Republican primary nominee, has acknowledged that he lost in 2020 by a whisker. It doesn't matter if you lost by a whisker, by a hair, by 1 point. A loss is a loss. But he constantly lied about it. He constantly raised hell about it. Even at the RNC, the Republican National Convention, he went on a tirade for what? 90 minutes about how the election was stolen from him. The election was won fair and square. When Al Gore ran against George W. Bush II, Al Gore conceded when he knew that he was not going to win the election. The Supreme Court stepped in and unanimously said that George Bush had been elected president of the United States. When Hillary Clinton lost to Trump, she conceded. When the late Senator John McCain, may he rest forever in peace, lost the election to Barack Obama, he conceded. But not Donald Trump, the narcissist, the bigot, the racist. He refused to accept the election results. Instead, he wanted to tear the nation in half, destroy it. You know, that's reminiscent of how the South and the North fought bitterly over the issue of slavery being maintained as the status quo here in America. Doesn't matter how many times you try to rewrite history. Doesn't matter how many times you try to deny that slavery is America's original sin. It doesn't matter how many times people try to act like it didn't happen. It happened. Over 180 million, close to 200 million of my ancestors were traded as things and stuff around the world. Think about it. Not just here in America, but around the world, slavery existed. And here you have Trump finally admitted on 3 occasions. He didn't admit because he was so forthright because he thinks it's going to help him win against Kamala Harris in November. So at least 3 times in recent weeks, Trump, the 2024 Republican Party nominee, has acknowledged that he lost in 2020, quote, by a whisker, close quote. He beat us by a whisker. It was a terrible thing. Why was it so terrible that you lost an election? You lose and you get up and you try again. That's a part of living. Everybody can't win everything all the time. Everyone is not going to be awarded medals and gold things all the time. In this sensitive nation of ours, even when children are racing toward one another, if one loses, they all get a medal. Why? You have winners and you have losers. That's it. In the contestable world of sports, someone wins, someone loses. How would it be if the current defending NBA champions went up against Team B and they lost? If you lose in the finals, you lose. That's the bottom line. You can't declare yourself a winner if you're a loser. I've lost many things. Just keep on trying. How many times did I fail at taking tests? I didn't get angry and upset and call the teacher all kinds of names and say, I passed the test. No, I failed the test and I had to study smarter, not harder. I had to study smarter the next time to pass the test. Trump said it was a terrible thing. Trump said of President Joe Biden during a 45-minute interview that happened on August 4th with podcaster Lex Friedman. He used similar language at an August 30 Moms for Liberty summit and on August 23rd press event at the southern border. What does it take? You can't beat Kamala Harris on the issues and the merits because it's not going to happen. She's ready for this debate in Philadelphia. She's ready to go up against Donald Trump. She's leading in all the polls, despite frequently and falsely claiming that he actually won the election and making the issue a central point of his 2024 bid. Trump has occasionally over the last few years admitted that he lost. Trump lost the popular vote to Biden by 7 million votes and the electoral college vote by 74 electoral votes. His effort to overturn the election culminated in January 6, 2021, on the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol by Trump supporters hoping to stop the certification of his defeat. That was the purpose of trying to get former vice president into the car. He told the Secret Service agents, I'm not getting in that car. They wanted him in the car. They're probably going to try to abduct him so that he could not certify the election. Even former Vice President Pence refuses to endorse Trump. And he's not going to vote for him either. The reaction to Trump's most recent comments from some far-right activists and influencers has been unusually stark. White nationalist Nick Fuentes blasted Trump September 4th for admitting that he lost the 2020 election and said that he will work to get voters not to back Trump. Quote, so why did we do, listen to this, listen. The same people who supported him, the same people who cheered him on, the same people who bought into the big lie, the same people who consistently argued ferociously and defended him to the hilt are now angry and upset that he's telling the truth. They want him to keep up the big lie. Some people rather believe a lie than the truth. All the false lawsuits that were filed, all the going back and forth into court, All this could have been avoided. All these lawsuits that have been filed, all these indictments that he's going through, self-afflicted, inflicted. All this could have been avoided by just simply conceding to Biden that you lost the election. And to perpetuate that big lie, he wasn't even presidential and refused to show up at the inaugural ceremony of the new president. He said, "To hell with it, I'm not coming," and left. I mean, no one is mandated, but it's just ceremonial to show the incoming president respect. Obama did it for him. Obama didn't have to be gracious to him. Obama could have just said, "You know what, the heck with it. I don't like you. I don't like your attitude." He graciously received him and his wife into the White House. How did he honor Barack Obama? By keeping his official portrait in a box and refused to put the portrait up on the wall alongside the racist, bigoted white presidents that were slave owners and a whole bunch of other nasty things. You cannot erase history. You cannot undo the fact that if you lost, you lost. You cannot accept defeat. If you can't accept defeat and you only want to gloat when you are winning, you're not a winner. You're a sore loser. And so for him running now, it's not even about the constituency, it's about him. That's how narcissists are. Me, I. Self-centered, egotist. Quote, "So why did we do Stop the Steal? Why did anyone go to the January 6th? Why did anyone go to jail? It would have been good to know that before 1,600 people got charged." You know what? I agree with Nick Fuentes. Why all this nonsense that occurred in the name of so-called injustice? 1,600 people were charged. People went to prison. People came on the mall. Why go through all that stuff if you knew you were lying all the time? And I want to hear that BS in the comments section about Trump 2024. Trump is a liar. Point blank. Let me continue the remarks of Fuentes. Fuentes said, "So why did we do Stop the Steal? Why did anyone go to January 6th? Why did anyone go to jail? It would have been good to know that before 1,600 people got charged." Fuentes said on this podcast, referring to the criminal charges for those who invaded and ransacked the Capitol, "It would have been good to know that before I had all my money frozen, put on a no-fly list, banned from everything, lost all my bank and payment processing." Wow. He's angry. I understand his rage. I understand Fuentes' anger. Because now he knows he and all 1,600 people who were charged, they were duped. Now you got people down in Georgia about to be charged. He did it to himself. All he had to do was tell the truth, concede the election, go out with dignity, go out and race. And if you want to come and run again, you can run again. Nobody told him that he could not run again. You just lost the election in 2020. If Biden had lost, he would have conceded. Darn. These people. Fuentes, a podcaster and Holocaust denier, who dined with Trump and the notorious rapper Ye, formerly known as Kanye, at a Mar-a-Lago property in Palm Beach, Florida in 2022, went on to call it a tremendous betrayal and callous indifference to the sacrifices that his supporters made on his behalf. And look at Rudy Giuliani, the once celebrated mayor of New York City, the infamous attorney general right during his time in New York City, district attorney, who single-handedly used his office as a champion of the people to bring down the mob in New York. Staked everything on Trump. Losing Fuentes and other far-right influencers and media personalities could have a serious impact. The Trump campaign has long relied on those in the hard-right media ecosystem to amplify political messages to their audiences of Trump's most ardent supporters. The Trump campaign declined to comment for this article. Why would he say anything? Why? It makes no kind of sense after all this time, after millions and millions and millions of dollars of filing frivolous and false lawsuits, after individuals getting charged and going to prison, after him threatening judges and their families and through his surrogates and things of this nature. Now you admit that you lied. Now you admit that you lost the election. Colin Henry, a researcher at George Washington University who studies the role of the internet in political violence, said he's seen a decline in support for Trump in far-right communities in the last several months. At first, it was just like they're mad about the tactics the campaign is using, but now it feels like there's blood in the water, right? And the fringe sense this opportunity to take back more control of the movement, Henry said. He said, listen, white supremacist groups haven't always seen Trump as their guy, but rather as a vehicle for their views. And their initial enthusiasm for him has been waning. Yes, he was their hero. He was their champion. He articulated their so-called fears. He stood up for racism and bigotry and sexism and all these things. The people down in Charlottesville, they loved him, because he said there are very fine people on both sides. And deep down in his heart of heart, he knew that he's a fraud. They've all seemed kind of ready to move on, Henry said. Their support is pretty cognizant on him delivering some of the more extremist ideological goals. This isn't the first time hard-right provocateurs have criticized how Trump is positioning himself in the general election, a time when he will have to gain support for more than just his most dedicated supporters in order to win back the White House. Well, we already knew that. You're not going to get the majority of the black people to vote for you. In the next video, I'm going to deal with how the black Republican has been called a slave. Because this is how these people feel, deep down on the inside of them. When you lose, you lose. When you win, you win. You know, I'm going to name the candidate, the city nor the town, but a few years ago, a very good friend of mine was up for a major election. And I sat down with him and I told him how he could win the election. Just listen, but he didn't do it. And he lost the election. And when he lost that election, he was drowning himself in whiskey and everything else. And I told him, I said, listen, I understand you're dejected. I understand that you lost. Regroup yourself and come back in 4 years bigger and stronger than ever. And connect with your people. When you are a black politician, listen, black politicians, connect with your home base. You can serve any and everybody you want to, but don't forget about your own people. Because we're the ones that are going to put you in office. A month ago, after the Republican National Convention, Fuentes refused to endorse Trump for re-election. He also said on his podcast that he plans sustained opposition to Trump, including a press conference in Michigan in mid-September, counter-programming during a Trump or Vance rally, and other actions to pressure the Trump campaign. To do what? You can't pressure them to do anything. Far-right activist Lauren Loomer posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, that Trump's approach needs to change fast because we can't talk about a stolen election for another 4 years. No kidding. No kidding. No, you can't talk about an election loss for another 4 years. People are tired of hearing it. That's like hearing a particular song on the radio over and over, morning, noon, and night, all year. After a while, you don't want to hear the same song. Play some different music. Sheesh. Get over it already. Damn. You lost the election. She also called his surrogates weak and said his momentum is being suppressed. In a podcast, far right personality Candace Owens, we don't give a damn about Candace Owens. She ain't one of us, and y'all can have her. Take her. Said the infighting, a MAGA civil war, is spurred by anger that Trump's campaign has softened his policies and persona to boost his mainstream appeal. Candace Owens means nothing to us. We could care less about her. We don't care. One day she's going to get that wake-up call real big. Just because you're married to a white man, that don't make you white. You're still a black woman. You can put on all light skin makeup you want, perm your hair, straighten your hair. You're still a black woman. And one day you will get that wake-up call, and don't come crawling back to us because you have demeaned us, you've downed us, you've slandered us, you've verbally castrated us, you've put us down, you've insulted our heritage, and we don't care about you. But Owens stressed that she will still support Trump. I'm just not sure who is driving the MAGA bus anymore, she said, stressing that her issue is with Trump's staff, not the former president. You're losing the support from the people that believed in you. You need those people. This is your base. You can't suddenly change who your base is, think that that is going to be a successful strategy. Well, you know what? He lost the election. Fair and square. That's the bottom line. When you consistently lie, and we know this from being children growing up, our parents, what did they say? Just tell us the truth. Did you take the cookies? Did you break the window? Did you let the car run out of gas? Did you sneak the girl up in your room? Did you sneak the boy up in your room? And what will we do? Lie. Then we got caught. Then we paid for our lies. I learned at an early age to stop lying to my mother because I wasn't no good at it. That's why I would just tell the truth. She's going to whip my behind anyway, so I might as well tell the truth. Don't matter. Just tell the truth. If you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. Never surrender. Never quit.